Walk into a typical public school gymnasium today, and you might see 40, 50, or even 60 students sharing a single instructor. As schools use physical education to absorb overflow from academic classes, the physical space becomes packed. The physical constraints are secondary. The core issue is structural. Traditional linear instruction, where one teacher addresses a single unified group, cannot scale to this volume without breaking down. We can measure this breakdown by looking at activity levels. The Centers for Disease Control mandates that students spend at least 50% of their physical education class time in moderate to vigorous physical activity, or MVPA. Most schools are failing to reach that baseline. Across secondary education, the national average hovers at just 40.5%. This chart shows exactly what happens when class sizes swell. Data from the Oakland Unified School District reveals a steep activity cliff. When a roster surpasses 45 students, active movement drops to roughly half of what it is in smaller classes. The mechanics behind this drop are straightforward. High volume exponentially increases the time spent managing transitions, waiting in line for stations, and redirecting behavior. Adding more students collapses the linear instructional model entirely, demanding a new architectural solution to how we organize the space. Active time is only the first casualty of scale. The second is formative assessment. Unlike math or reading, where a teacher can review written work after the bell rings, physical skill assessment requires uninterrupted, real-time observation. Evaluating a large group of moving students simultaneously quickly becomes a mathematical bottleneck. Look at a baseline calculation. Applying a 4-criterion rubric to 32 students requires 128 discrete scoring decisions per period. Multiply that across 3 periods, and the instructor faces 384 observational decisions daily. Faced with this cognitive overload, many programs inevitably abandon formal skill evaluation in favor of generic participation grades. The absence of meaningful data in large classes is not a reflection of teacher effort. It is a data processing failure that requires a structural overhaul to fix. To solve this, we apply an architectural restructuring of the class environment known as the zone approach. The framework is grounded in the research of early 20th century educational psychologist Lev Vygotsky. This diagram illustrates how Vygotsky defined the zone of proximal development as the precise gap between what a learner can accomplish independently and what they can achieve with targeted guidance. This concept pairs directly with Carol Ann Tomlinson's framework of differentiated instruction, which adjusts content and process to fit individual readiness levels. The core innovation of the zone approach is taking these theoretical frameworks and physically mapping them onto the gymnasium floor. Instructors use pre-assessment data to cluster a massive class roster into 4 manageable developmental readiness bands. These zones operate as theoretically sound instructional nodes, each calibrated to provide the exact level of scaffolding that specific group requires. This topographical layout shows a 40-student class divided into 4 distinct quadrants, moving from a chaotic single group into zones A through D. Zone A is for emerging students requiring high support, while Zone B focuses on structured practice. Zone C holds proficient students applying skills independently, and Zone D engages extension students in advanced challenges. To keep these quadrants functioning smoothly simultaneously, the system relies on cooperative learning principles identified by researchers Johnson and Johnson. Each group receives internal scaffolding through a zone captain, an upper readiness peer model who leads within their specific zone. Administrative tasks are offloaded to a data collector node. This student role tracks repetitions and manages equipment, removing friction from the instructor's workflow. This internal architecture turns 40 individuals into a self-regulating 4-node parallel processing system. The physical activity gain is immediate. Instead of the whole class waiting sequentially on the teacher, the 4 zone captains execute warm-up protocols concurrently. By running operations in parallel, the prolonged transition times of a single monolithic group vanish. Everyone moves at once. The instructor adopts a targeted rotation protocol. They dedicate 40% of bandwidth to Zone A and 25% to Zone B for critical intervention. Autonomous zones C and D receive 20 and 15. Rather than entering scores one by one, the teacher logs the median dropout lap for the entire zone with a single input. From there, the instructor only needs to manually override the data for the 1 or 2 outlier students who deviated from that baseline. The efficiency game is massive. Tracking a 32-student test compresses from 32 discrete interactions down to roughly 10. Paired with zone-aware technology, this strategy preserves strict data fidelity while eliminating the operational friction of real-time assessment. Any system based on grouping carries the pedagogical risk of fixed ability tracking, which can easily stigmatize students. To counter this, the framework relies on fluid dynamics. Zones are semi-permanent and must be reassessed and reshuffled every 4 to 6 weeks based on ongoing data. Moving between zones is presented to the class as a metric of progress and a promotion, avoiding permanent labels. Instructors also schedule deliberate cross-zone activities, mixing the groups for gameplay to build social cohesion and prevent rigid group identity from taking hold. The reality is that ongoing budgetary and scheduling pressures will continue to push physical education class sizes upward. Instructors cannot overcome the mathematics of a 50-student class through sheer effort or behavioral management alone, but by mapping the theory of proximal development to a parallel physical architecture and managing it via exception-based assessment, the numbers become workable. Engineering the physical environment turns a large class liability into a highly structured, data-rich instructional space, ensuring every student is seen and accurately measured.